special kickoff here. I want to welcome everybody. This is Mark Edward Davis, Dream Connections. This is a very special presentation tonight with my longtime good friend, Justin. Justin, say hi to the guys.
Hello, hello.
There you go. I'm going to give Justin a better introduction in a minute here, but let me just warm up for you guys who are new and part of the tribe. You guys are showing up here tonight. Dream Connections is a brotherhood, really. It's a tribe of guys who, for whatever reason in their heart, they said, you know what, I think the best for my life that I'm really looking for as far as a life partner, that person to wake up to every day, could be in another country. And they got smart enough to actually look and find other people who've done it to follow the model, and so that's what we are. We are now over 100 men and women we've helped to be engaged or married here with Dream Connections. All of them are tight. We were just talking to my son, actually asked me, I heard you guys, somebody was saying you guys haven't had any divorces. No, it's, dude, I mean, what we're doing is very special and unique, and so we're very proud of it. So if somewhere in your heart you felt like, you know what, I really have seen other married couples, I've seen heard enough, or met other, ladies from overseas to believe there's got to be something there for me, but you want to know what's real. You want to get, it's got to, in your gut, you see so many scams and stories, but somewhere in your heart you say, but something out there's got to be real. Some of it's got to be real somewhere, and so we welcome you guys, and you've come to the right place. So, because we're the guys who figured it out, and we're here to help you. So tonight I want to give an appropriate now welcome to my dear friend Justin, and give you a little bit of history on this, and we're going to go through your story in a minute, bro. So this is all just walk through. We're going to have a great time. When we started the company way back in, actually the first inception came in December 12th of 2010, and it was a development process. We hosted the first Quest tour in June of 2011. And a little before then, I think Justin came on board. He was curious about it. He kind of liked the energy of what we were doing. And he and I developed a friendship. So he was actually, for a period of almost a year, he was my co-host on my webinars. So if you can imagine this, what he would do is he would be reading the chat you guys are saying, and he'd say, hey, by the way, Mark, here's a good question, because you guys know how much I miss your questions. It just blows right past, and you guys email me later, Mark, you missed my question. I tried to ask, you never got to my question. Well, I know, guys. I'm trying to host a show, catch what I can, do the thing. So I apologize. I don't care. But Justin would do that, and he was a bro. And so finally he came on the second tour, and then we'll tell the rest of the story from there. So here's the outline, Mr. Palma, so you can follow along here. Here's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to go over, talk about the origins of the company here, circa 2011, the webinars. We had a few clients, early successes. Justin meets Oksana, and then the Palma Love and family, and then just you came in and actually hung out with me for a week last week during the tour. So all of that I'm going to say. By the way, guys, for those of you who are waiting, trust me, I will do a massive, wonderful presentation based on last week's Quest tour. I haven't even got the photos. I have no videos. I tried to get some of the guys on the tour to come on tonight. They're all jet lagged. Half of them are still there. So, I mean, to do it properly, we're going to have to do it later. Justin, however, lives in Ukraine right now, so it wasn't a big, he didn't have jet lag to recover from, although he is up at 3 in the morning, so we thank you for that. But, bro, let's go back to before you met your wife, before you went on a Quest tour, and tell me about just, how you found us, what your curiosity was. Tell us those early days. We had no clients, in this whole thing. Give the guys a taste of what it was like.
Absolutely. So when was your first tour, by the way?
June of 2011. June. Okay. June before yours in October. June.
Okay, so I want to say then I kind of climbed aboard in July. It was right after you guys had gotten back.
Okay.
But basically, yeah, I was kind of sick of the dating scene, and I after being married to Oksana almost 5 years now, like I hate hearing people bash the girls where they're from, but I mean, I don't know. I guess that was kind of the best way to put it, really. It was, I told you the story. You know the story where in the 2008 crash, as soon as kind of all the real estate went crazy, I had investment properties, the mortgages went berserk, and as soon as the money dried up, my girlfriend kind of left me at the same time, too. So I guess I was kind of sick of that mentality. And I kind of Googled around, and I found an interesting video on YouTube by a guy named Mark Davis, and he talked about his wife, Anna. And that's when I kind of fell in love with you and Anna, and fell into the tribe, and was hooked ever since.
Oh, that's cool, brother. You know, the other thing that I have to look back and say, and I'm going to show some photos from the first tour we were on. I didn't have a lot here, but enough for us to talk about and have a story tonight. Is you got to think of those guys who came on early. What track record did we have? I mean, it was like, you know, but there was a good energy, and we certainly, I'll give it this, I think we had very creative ideas. I think that had to have been the early allure. It's like, I think these guys are onto something. They're trying to be real, and at least they've done it for themselves, right?
You know, I was lucky that I had a couple family friends who had dated and married women from former Soviet Union countries. And actually, I just found this out like 2 weeks ago. My mother's cousin was married to a beautiful Colombian, actually, which was like, I was like, really? How did I not know that? But so like, I was very lucky that my family was really supportive of the idea. And I came about it because, you know, I knew, I didn't know. I really thought that the women here would have kind of a deeper perspective on life and different values. And, you know, I lived in Manhattan for 10 years, so I'm you know, all work, and, you know, live to work, basically. And you know, I was saying to you last week, it's work to live, and it's a totally different mindset. And it was like just exactly kind of what I needed. It really was.
Man, that's awesome. Well, let's just start kicking through the presentation here, and we'll tell your story. So first of all, I have stuff for you. You didn't know I was going to spring on you. I have your profile photos that you submitted with your.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm like,
this is my favorite. This is my favorite right
shirt,
here.
By the way, that's the shirt.
Yeah, I know. It's like your trademark. This striped shirt and the black undershirt. That's the bomb.
So it's an inside joke, but not really. But the shirt is going to make a lot of appearances, I'm sure, throughout this slideshow.
Well, it's funny because when last week when Justin came up and wanted to see after 5 years what we're doing, and we're hanging out in Nikolaev at the tour. So he's wearing this same shirt and black undershirt. And so just for him as a courtesy, I decided to wear the same sweater I was wearing for his tour, you know, for his meet and greet event. And so we're like, it's like, what are we picking curtains next? It was just so funny that we both showed up. A little tribute there to the history. But I wanted to throw this in because before we get to your tour, your wife had been on the previous tour.
That's right. Yep.
And I you know, just really connected with her, and about 3 or 4 of the ladies I just really thought were awesome and enjoyed them. In fact, I have a picture of me and Doug's wife and this other gal in the middle. And of course, they're all taller than me, so it was kind of an interesting photo. But you know, they were just fun people, and I think we appreciated it. So, having said that, now we fast forward to you and your tour, and I think this is your table number 2 there. So this is again, during the early days, you know, before my wife helped make this thing really oriented for the ladies, you know, which today is stunning and amazing. You know, this
my god, I can't wait to talk about the differences from then till now. We'll come up on that, but oh my god.
Anyway, all right, then I'm just going to skip through these for now, and but just say, here's, you know, this is your wife now on the right before you guys met. Well, she's just sitting at the table there. And then one of my favorite interviews, and if you guys haven't seen it on the website, you got to click on it on the right on our Dream Connections website, where you have the pictures of the couples, their wedding pictures on the far right. Click on it, and it'll go to this interview where Justin, you and I were talking about it. Like day 2, you're there. You haven't met anybody yet. We haven't been to the meet and greet events. And then here we flash forward to the end of the week where the 2 of you are talking. It's just so freaking stinking cute. So if just for the sake of telling the guys, because at the time I didn't have any of the training I do today. We did the best on webinars. And you guys were showing up nervous as heck, but then I think once you met her, all that went away, and you guys were just like you've been together for life.
It was crazy, and it's really interesting, especially on that video, you can see it. And this is not a joke or an exaggeration. On day one, when you see me, and then on this shot here, which is probably the most unflattering frame you could have grabbed from this
Well,
video.
Okay, thanks.
But and if you watch that video, I'm 10 pounds lighter through the week. That's how crazy it is. My nerves were just shot by the end of the week. But I met Oksana at the social, and we spent every single night together. Every day of the entire time we were there, we were kind of just attached at the hip, and we'd go out with everybody. So we had like kind of the group events even back then. So but poor Oksana, she was waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and she'd get out at 6, go home, change, and meet us in the hotel lobby, and then stay with us until like 1 or 2 in the morning. So she was, in this video by now, she's a zombie already at this point. But, and you've talked about this a lot, just kind of the indicators of interest and just kind of, it was, obviously we were just, we hit it off completely right from kind of the start. It was, I never, felt anything like that ever, basically. So that's kind of the story behind the videos.
That's awesome, man. Well, and there's just so many cute moments here, but I have to talk about it. See, I don't know if this is the next picture. Oh, these are some others from shot. Again, the shirt, the lucky shirt.
That's night one. This is the first night I met my wife, which is kind of a crazy thing to think about. That how many people actually have a picture of, here's the day I met my wife. That's crazy to me.
That's insane. It's totally insane.
Why did I not wear that shirt?
It's a lucky shirt. Wear it every day. Get duplicates of it. I love it. It's so cute. But it's interesting how you guys hit so quick and easy. She's giving you a kiss already on the first day, and that was really kind of cute. It was not every couple we have hits with that instant. I didn't even hit that fast with my wife. It took the next few days for us to get to know each other, and we built on it. But you guys were like
solid game.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, okay. Wait. Time out. If you're going to try to tell me about game, I'm going to talk about when you were leaning over the counter between tables going, I can't do this. I can't do this.
Let's not talk about that. No, that was a joke.
No, it's, the truth is.
That's a really good point. We have a spot to talk about the tour from last week.
Yeah,
so
we will.
Remind me of that, because I need to bring that part up because it's such a good point. So keep going.
All right, you got it. So the rest of this is basically you guys as just various.
5 pounds lost at this point.
Nice. Same night.
Night one. This was in 2012. So this is actually when I was living there. I want to say this was Easter. This was like the coolest thing. We did a Ukrainian barbecue, and it was her entire family. And I was telling some of the guys this last week. You know how in America barbecue's different, like every region where you are, right? So there's like the St. Louis barbecue, the Texas barbecue, which is different. Well, Ukrainian barbecue, it's similar in that how you prepare the meats, but it's totally different. It's like unbelievable. So we rented out this place, and there's horses there, and it was just for the family. It was so cool. But that was my first Ukrainian barbecue. That's what's going on in this picture.
Well, then I may have these totally out of order. So these may go back to day one. We'll see where they go. So there we go, all the way back to day one. So day two. This you got to tell this story. I've never had anybody do this. It's freaking adorable. And this is your first week when you met. Am I right?
No, we came back.
Oh, when you came back,
so
okay.
There was a weird thing, and I mean, I don't know, like you kind of saw it too with this week, where it's like, oh my God, I'm wearing the shirt from that week, and you're like, I'm wearing the sweater from that week, and all these weird, and then that guy was flying home that day, like all these weird coincidences. So Viken, Viken, he was the best man at my wedding. Him and I were joking about a month before I went to Ukraine. So kind of backstory, Viken actually came with us to Ukraine, and then him and I went to Paris afterwards. So he kind of got to, watch everything happen and unfold. So him and I were joking about everything I had to do once I found my future wife, and on the list was couple tattoos. We had to have a couple tattoos. I don't know why that was in my brain. Was like, we have to do that. Fast forward to the week there, out of nowhere, we're just all talking, and Oksana said, I really want a couple tattoo. And I'm like, you're freaking kidding me. Like, Deacon and I were just joking about that the other day. So we're like, okay, we have to totally do this. So, yeah, so we had talked about it for the 3 months we were apart after we left in October. And I actually came back the week of Christmas Eve. So it's kind of funny if you're in America, and it's a weird concept, but when you fly there, you're going into the future, and when you fly from Ukraine to America, you're going literally like back to the future, like back in time. So, I left Christmas Eve morning in Ukraine. I traveled for 24 hours straight, and I landed in time for our family party at Christmas Eve, which is like kind of a whole weird thing too, but these tattoos were 3 months later, which everyone completely thought we were crazy to get, but I mean, it worked out.
I'm not going to argue with either side of that discussion. No, honestly, dude, it's very cool. I don't know anybody's. By the way, though, there is something, though, that I've got a couple of bros in the tribe that we have. I don't know if you've seen it. I have a tribal version of the DC logo. It's like tribal tattoo art. And so if you do it just right, it's designed to interlink. So I said, I'm working out with Law Jackson now every day. So when I get my biceps a little bigger, I'm doing one of those like barbed wire fence things around there. This is DC. Like you'll see it someday. It's coming. It's going to happen. So anyway,
the story behind the tattoo is I'm left-handed, so mine's on my left hand. She's right-handed. Hers on her right hand. And when you put them together, it actually reads, "Together forever, never apart, maybe in distance, but never at heart."
That was a nice sentiment. It is cool. I kind of wrote a song to that effect, too. Anyway. All right, we're back to day 2 again. Yeah. Same shirt. Cigar, though. You added the cigar. That's a nice touch.
Wait. No, that's later. That one was later, yeah. That
really?
One was later. Yeah.
Oh, you just kept re-wearing the lucky shirt. You know what got me? You and I went through the photos we had, and I don't have any of you and I together. Now, I had some that were personally taken, like on my iPhone, and I had some other ones, but I didn't have any of the group tour ones, so I'm going to have to go fish there and try to find some.
I found one the other day of you and I, and it was probably your first hookah experience. That was the picture I have. But it's like the only picture.
Yeah, you're guilty for that. You're the one who introduced me to hookah. So my wife will have words with you later.
This is when we were living in Ukraine. This was kind of one of the really cool. As you know, just some of the apartments in Ukraine are so freaking cool, and this was one of them. And I don't know. I mean, I might as well explain the whole story. I came in October of 2011. I came back for another 10 days the week of Christmas Eve. And back then, which all of you guys now have no idea how lucky you are, but back then, it was like a good year to get your K-1 visa processed. And it's so, you're kind of just running on adrenaline the entire week. It's, it obviously changes your life. I mean, there's kind of no subtle way to put it. Your life is changed by the end of that week, right? So, I kind of realized I met my other half, and it's so hard to leave and then be apart. I couldn't stand it, and we couldn't, we knew we were facing a year apart. I literally was breaking. I couldn't deal with it, and so was Oksana. So I was telling actually a bunch of the guys about this last week because they're asking me, how the heck do you live in Ukraine and work, and what are you doing? So I kind of reached a point where I was like, I don't even care what happens anymore. I just, the money will come. I want to be with Oksana. That's really it. And I was telling you this, Mike, when you're in that mindset of you don't care, negotiations usually go in your favor.
In your favor, yeah. That's true. That's true.
Right. So, I went to my boss and said, I can't do it. This is what I'm doing. If we can work together, that'd be awesome. If we can't, God bless you. And, the timing worked out perfectly where he kind of needed to save money. So I actually agreed to a salary cut to work remotely in Ukraine. And that was the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. I mean, again, you and I were talking about this last week, but money should never be kind of the focus of your life. That's kind of like life is first, right? So, the experience I had living in Ukraine in all of 2012 was it was, I mean, obviously I'll never forget it the rest of my life. It was unbelievable. So, but that's the story of why I was there for 2012, why I'm there in these pictures.
It's cool.
The last one was your neck of the woods in Las Vegas. That was later when I came back to
Vegas.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Grand Canyon tour.
Right.
This is in Six Flags. This is Lake George, New York.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a funny
Wedding
story.
photos, finally. Yeah, here we go.
Okay, so if any of you guys know any Ukrainian women, you know your new hobby that you're kind of forced into is photography. Am I right?
True dat. Yeah, they pose for everything. They want to be in pictures.
Picture it's take my picture, and you have to take 1 million pictures, and that's part of your life from now on. Which there could be worse things. So we were trying to figure out where the wedding location would be. We kind of, first we were thinking maybe like a castle somewhere, or maybe somewhere on a beach, or so. We could not figure it out. And being a Ukrainian woman, Oksana needed 10 million photos in a million different locations. So I said, you know what? There's only one place on earth to get all of the photos that you want, and that's in Disney World in Orlando, Florida. So what's really cool
Disney World, Florida. Love it.
Actually lets you go into Epcot or whatever park you choose in the morning before people arrive. So it's you and the photographer, and you're alone in the entire Disney park, which is kind of crazy. And then you're in a car, and you're driving to different locations as fast as you can to take photos everywhere you can. So as you're going through, as you saw us in a London, a telephone booth, and I assume later you put it, there's pictures of us in front of the Eiffel Tower, and that was kind of the idea. But yeah, it was a stroke of genius to have it there with a Ukrainian woman so she can have all of her photos.
That is brilliant. That is so freaking brilliant. And plus, it's a package, especially if you're on a 90-day fiance visa and you got 90 days to get it done. You want to do something really cool, just do the Disney package, and it looks like you're in Paris or wherever.
We did something cool with that. I don't even know if you have the whole story on this. Mm-hmm. So obviously in America, when you come back, you have 90 days to get married, which is most people take at least a year to plan a wedding. It's like just not enough time. It's unrealistic. So what Oksana and I decided to do was the way it lined up was 12-12-12 was in the 90 days that we had to get married. So we actually did a city hall marriage on 12-12-12, and then it was really cool. Like the whole city hall got into it. I was like, "Let's marry you at 12-12." Like, okay, so our marriage certificate says 12-12-12 at 12:12 p.m. We got married, and then we kind of didn't publicly announce it to anyone of our family or friends or anything like that. But that made the government happy. We're officially married. Now we can proceed with all the paperwork and blah blah blah. Then September of 2013. That's when we had our Disney wedding, and we had time to plan it and everything. So that was our kind of way to, hack the system, so to speak, so you have time to plan the wedding. Yeah.
Cool.
That's a pretty picture. That's a good one too.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's face it, our wives, we show off our wives all day long, so you could rub in their faces, make the guys jealous. Okay, now tell me the story with the dog too. That's been an integral part of your relationship story here.
So I remember saying this to you on one of the webinars. So like Mark touched on this, but for about a year I was the co-host. So we'd start the webinar, and this was ground zero, like day one. And so obviously we're talking about when we got back. So Oksana and I would talk as I was back in New York and she was staying here in Ukraine. And one of the things we started talking about was a dog. And obviously you and Anna are dog people too. They love animals. So one of the jokes we had when we were in Ukraine is if you listen to Russian and Ukrainian, everything ends in shki. So everything is just like, so our joke was neshki, like for niet, for no, neshki, dashki, blah, blah, blah. So we're trying to come up with names for the dogs, and we wanted a Chihuahua for one dog, and we want a, what the heck was the other dog? We obviously didn't get the dog, but I think we wanted a Shar-Pei. So Oksana, and this was kind of good banter for just chatting when you're long distance, right? But like, what are we going to name the dogs? And from the week, I go, oh my God, the perfect names are Neshki and Dashki. So that Chihuahua is Neshki, which actually translates to little no, which is kind of the perfect name for him too.
Why not Boris and Natasha? I don't know.
That too,
yeah. Neshki, I like it. That's cute. It's cute. All right, let me keep rolling here.
This was in Atlantis, which is amazing. I can't recommend that enough to you guys. Neshki and Esme. So this was in. She was born February 22nd of last year. So she today turned 13 months old. So this was part of her newborn photo session, which again, she's part Ukrainian, so lots of photos kind of happen. Oh, and I have to say, today was the first day she started like really walking. I wanted to put that on the webinar, which is an awesome kind of thing. Yeah.
There you go. It's immortalized then, as of today. Got
Absolutely.
It. Nice.
So put that luck rubs off on the tribe. This was Istanbul. This was just what? This was like 6 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I love this
there too. Of course, nice photos.
Yeah. Christmas photo shoot because we're in Ukraine and it's time for a photo shoot.
Swear.
Perfect excuse.
Right. Exactly. So cute.
So yeah.
Now, is this the private? Okay.
What?
Is she pregnant here? Is this the previous year or something? Or is this the same shoot? The baby's not in the picture.
This is all the same shoot. It's just a weird angle.
Okay.
I won't tell you said that.
No, I just.
Right.
So cute.
This is Istanbul 6 weeks ago.
Nice.
And this was what the heck was? Oh, this was for her first birthday photo shoot. So this one was 2 weeks ago, and you might recognize that shirt.
You love the shirt. It's okay, dude. You're not alone. You have to say, I had a lucky shirt that had the big crest on the chest. It was a black shirt button up, and it had the shield and crest. And then I had a sweater that had a similar thing on it, and I wore that for every single, tour forever. And
I just love that shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hear you. Okay, so now we're gonna break into this week's experience and the contrast of what this whole thing was like, all the guys and everything. So why don't you just kind of roll through what the whole thing was like from your perspective, from day one. So, roll with it, bro.
It was so cool to be there back in 2011 and then see how far you brought it in the past 5 years, right? So the first thing I kept talking about is these guys are so relaxed. And like I said, and literally, if you go to the homepage of Dream Connections, Mark actually put the video up where you can see, I swear to God, I lost 10 pounds that week. That's how just off the charts my nerves were and how intense the social was. And, it was just, back then, I mean, it works still, obviously, thank God, but, it wasn't the well-oiled machine it is today. So first thing off the top is different city. I love Nikolaev. We were actually talking about it today, and obviously we plan on joining you in May, and can't wait to see the guys and the new guys, and, Nikolaev was amazing. So that was kind of cool to see a different southern Ukrainian town, but again, almost the same feel, just very small European, charming, small city where it's really walkable, really comfortable. You feel totally safe, obviously. I mean, it was fantastic. The guys are awesome, right? I mean, it's a weird thing, and most people never go through this in their life, but it's such an emotional roller coaster. You're kind of instantly bonded with everyone around you that's kind of dealing with it at the same time as you. And I think I can say this safely, where every trip, the guys just have these most insanely strong bond and friendship, and it's like a weird thing. Like I still talk to pretty much everyone we went to back in 2011, and a couple of those guys had babies, and so you're just keeping up with everybody. But again, first thing that was just shocking to me was how calm everybody was, which is obviously such a humongous benefit if you're about to meet your future half. And you just if the nerves are wrong and you're just a nervous wreck. Like I was lucky where I could hone it in, I guess. So I'm like, and then you know what I mean, like Van Damme. But like, yeah, so the guys are just totally relaxed and like they were just in the zone, just ready to go for it. Like, I mean, it was like, they just killed it. It was awesome. And then I think they probably enjoyed their week so much more than I was able to back then because they were just so much more relaxed.
That was well said. Thank you for that. And it is true. Even in that vein, when we heard through the rest of the week, the stories, the guys that that found somebody, and I think to a man, every single one of them met their lady here at the events. Sometimes guys will meet them later on subsequent dates. They try to, but every guy, and so you think like, yeah, these guys met their future right here, just like you did, and it really happens.
I was the only one back then to meet it on the social, but everyone else met on a subsequent date. So everyone was pretty much dating someone, I think, that time we were there. But, so it worked out differently. But yeah, now I think everyone met at the social now, which is so different. Like, I mean, that's night and day different results from 2011.
Well, and still, it varies tour to tour. Like I said, I tell the classic story of Chris Haste, who met his wife on Wednesday after the ones he met at the social, weren't lighting his world on fire. And then, we get the reports. I mean, you talk about our systems being so tight. Every translator is required to turn in these daily reports on who the guys went out with, what the guys thought about it, and then her independent third-party opinion of how she thought it went. And so when a guy comes into us by Wednesday and says, they're good, I don't have anybody saying they're bad dates, but it's just like, I want them, I hope they find somebody because they're wonderful girls, but it's not the one. I'm still looking. So we can read all of his date reports and go like, all right, let's see, this was working here, this was kind of there. And then all of a sudden, Marina, my wife, they'll go, oh, okay, let's do this one, this one, this one. I think these, boom, those end up, we've had very good success in those. So there's always abundance. Not everybody finds that connection with people at the meet and greet event, but this time I think it was almost 100%. So I felt like that's really cool. It was awesome, because I obviously I believe in the system and I'm proud of it.
What major kind of pivot you did, and I don't know if you talk about this enough, but this is really brilliant. Where back in the day, right, we had one social. So why my nerves were so intense was it was like, we had like the group lunch and we're like, okay, we're about to head over to the social across the street. And it's like, holy cow, like you feel like you're in the tunnel about to go out into the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like that's not like, I'm like, I'm probably about to meet my future wife right now. Like, so I'm thinking about, 5 years in advance. So that's why I'm like, I totally was in the wrong space. But again, I was able to kind of like, pull it together where now you do two socials. So the guys kind of are a little bit more nervous the beginning one, and then by day two they're like, I got this. I've been through it. I know how it is, and then there's so much calmer day two, and that was such a huge. That was really an aha moment for me watching it happen, where you could see the guys just, and they're so much more relaxed.
Well, we've instigated, thank you for that, by the way, thank you. But we've done so many little things along the way. We've instigated not only the training videos, but we have the coaching I do the morning of. We instigate the bro code, the things that we create, the rules that help facilitate the camaraderie throughout the week. We also, one thing it isn't, you mentioned to me, Mark, you got to bring this out, that isn't brought up enough is that the guys don't actually have to book any of their own dates.
Yeah.
The translators.
I said this to you. You've eliminated the fear of rejection. Yeah, because a guy on the tour cannot get rejected. That doesn't happen anywhere in life ever, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
literally, so he says, I like her, like her, like her. And then he kind of, sixes pitbull on her. And the translator goes in and makes it happen. And then the translator has, girl to girl feedback on it for him. I mean, this doesn't exist anywhere else in the world in all of humanity ever. It's never been that easy of a system to do it. And of course you have all the correct psychology when you go in, right? Because there was 80 women, I think, and the 18 guys. So I mean the ratios are fantastic. So the guys are scared. So they're the women almost get a little bit competitive. I mean it's so amazing. Like you literally can. This doesn't exist anywhere. I guess I don't know how else to say that. And it was awesome to actually watch it, and I could be relaxed because I had already accomplished.
You already got yours, yeah.
Yeah. So just watching these guys go out and do it, and kind of thinking about what an advantage they have now is just like, oh my God, this is crazy to watch this. And like you say it all the time, and I live in Ukraine, right? I see this every single day, but guys will say, well, the girl's really that pretty, blah, blah, blah. And I know you put up tour photos and stuff, but it's like, yeah, like cross that off your list. You don't have to worry about, is she good looking? That's, as soon as you step off the plane in Ukraine, you're like, okay, wow, I'm in Oz now. It's a different world. It's really totally different. So, it's cool that they could relax and really focus on personalities and common interests. So it's a better fit. It's not just, something as shallow as looks, or you know what I mean. It's just so cool to watch.
No, thank you for that. It was fun to see. I haven't had this before on my tours, to have somebody independently, already found there's been through the earlier system, then sit and watch what we do today. So, again, I had to give credit to my wife because, she has reoriented the entire thing to a woman's touch. This thing is geared towards the women. If we get the women feeling dignified, respected, honored, that then all the good women continue to come out and recommend their friends, and it's honoring. And so the woman's touch is totally felt, I think, compared to the early days on this, where, it was a little bit more stay up late, go drink and party. No, time out.
Oh yeah,
totally different.
It was the focus was partying back then, and I mean, like a lot of those guys just weren't partiers. And I think if I had gone on my tour now, back, like I don't know that it would have fit me anymore. You know what I mean? It was just, I was young at the time, so I was in, I could party and hang, and it was fun, and I made the most of it. But yeah, thinking about it now, I just don't think I could do it. I really don't.
No. We've grown up. But the one thing that really struck home to me, because when my wife wanted to change the venue, because the first time we came to Nikolaev, she was sort of following the template that I set up, in Poltava. And so first time we went into a nightclub, and we did it once. And she just says, babe, this doesn't make sense. You're trying to send a message of what? What message are you trying to send to these ladies that this is about? You're trying to tell them you're serious and you're meeting in a nightclub? And so immediately she shifted it to a restaurant, and the whole thing really just escalated in the right direction, sent the right message, and changed the tone. And then also, I really, like I said, we get the guys back to sleep to focus on what they're there for. Because I said, look, find your girl. If you want to enjoy nightclubs, you want to enjoy, see other parts of the country, find your girl first. Let her be your friend. Go have fun. You guys love it. See the country, whatever. So they're all focused, but I've learned to do two things that are my insertion. I mean, the rest of the week I'll give my wife credit for, but my things are karaoke night and Storm on Wednesdays. So was that cool?
It was awesome, and it was funny too because Oksana was in Poltava because, as you know, we had problems with the baby at the last minute. She, like I said, she just turned 13 months old, and we had a little travel crib, and literally the last second we're like, okay, this isn't gonna happen. Right? But so I told her at karaoke, and she's going, "You're at karaoke?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Did you sing?" I go, "As a matter of fact, me and Mark did sing." But it was just so much fun, and the venue is so pretty. Like I thought just all of it, like this place where the slides up now, when we went downstairs in those rooms, like everything was just so gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, the
And
location.
Storm was like
What's that?
Storm reminded me of like a Universal Studios like themed restaurant. If you've ever been
Yeah,
there, like it's really cute.
Planet Hollywood.
Exactly.
But it was fun, People don't, and again, I don't really like it. Like I say, when guys come to karaoke night, I'll have guys they'll tell me, Mark, the whole thing sounds great, but karaoke, I'll pass. Is like you don't get it. It's not about that at all. It's a night of family. It's just a family night, and most of the guys don't do any singing. You hang out. We just enjoy food, and drink and just relaxing. No dates. You're kind of unwinding from the pressure of the first 4 days, which are so nonstop. It's just nice to get away. No dates, just us, the translators, and to watch the girls sing Russian. These are dignified, elegant women who they're so professional and proper and gracious and giving. And all of a sudden, you put on one of their local songs in Russian, hand them a microphone, and they're kicking it like a teenager. You're like, what? And it's just such a great, but the whole thing is fun. The whole thing just takes the pressure valve off, and and even like you said, there isn't, obviously we do our part to make sure there isn't as much as possible, but you can't help it after 4 constant days of doing this. It's just nice to relax and get away from it for a little bit. So,
Well, it's kind of a weird thing, right? Where again, you're not used to this in your home country, but once you go to Ukraine, it's like all the women are gorgeous, and you're in this weird like business mode of I'm going on dates, I'm getting it done, and I'm meeting the woman. It's really like a fantasy, but you get spoiled and used to it. And the karaoke is a really nice kind of reset. So yeah, anybody going, you have to go to karaoke night. Even if you just sit and watch, it's like it was just a complete blast.
Yeah, it is so not about the karaoke.
Right.
It is a really awesome family night. So anyway, about that, one of the photos I pulled, and I thought I'd added it on here, and I apologize I didn't. That really meant a lot to me was the photo I had, and it's on our Facebook pages, but I haven't posted. It was you going on the trip to the orphanage and holding that little infant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about that.
So that was a really big deal. So, the plan was, of course, Oksana was to come on the trip, and like I said, she couldn't at the last minute, but Oksana actually has her master's in sociology. Again, it's like something like it's weird. It's a different universe. The girls are all gorgeous and like they're all extremely educated. So, it's just normal. Oksana has her master's in sociology, but part of that was she was to actually volunteer in a local orphanage. And she did that, and it just kind of broke her, where she was just so touched and moved by the orphans and, kind of the harsh conditions that they were in and everything else. So then to go there with you, and it was like, I don't think I've given you enough kind of credit to how amazing what you've done there is. And it was amazing because actually after I went back and watched the videos, and you could see the before, where we were in the rooms that like Mark actually built. I mean, he raised the money to build these rooms, and there's physical therapy rooms and the NICU, and we actually walked in and the baby was getting treated. And I mean, it was like, my God, it was so touching. And then just to see how far this orphanage has come, where we kind of take it for granted back home, but there, if a baby gets sick, they didn't have an NICU, a place where they could separate the sick babies from the other ones. Like, they'd all get sick. I mean, that was just kind of how it was set up. So it was like, I mean, you kind of leave it speechless. It's like such an amazing thing, but it's amazing to see everything you've accomplished at that orphanage. Really, that was amazing.
Well, it means a lot. It means a lot to me, and it touched me a lot. I know your wife was so moved by her own experience that she told you in advance that if she ever comes, she is not going to the orphanage because she knows what that means to her emotionally.
Yeah.
And so it's important to me to get that picture.
And the thing of it is, it's not that she doesn't want to help. I mean, she has a heart to a fault, but
all of our translators are the same. They're all like, we love it, we care so much. We'd be emotionally a wreck for days because they want so much. They want to adopt them all. I don't know if you saw
exactly what happened.
In one of the rooms we went in, Olya, our videographer, went in first, and literally she had 4 of these little kids run up there and grab her around the legs. She couldn't even finish walking into the room.
I was right behind her actually when it happened. Yeah, and that's kind of the reason why Oksana can't handle it, because they crave affection so much, because it's the one thing they can't get, is they don't have, parents or brothers, real brothers and sisters there. So that's the one thing they crave. And, if you're there for a while, it's mama and dad. Will you be my mama? And it's like, oh my God. So, but at least, like, with everything you've done, at least they're like 100 times more comfortable than they were, just a couple of years ago before you started. Like, I mean, that was kind of my takeaway from it. Is it's still it's a horrible situation, obviously, but it's amazing that at least they're comfortable now. Really, because of you and your work, it was really moving.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I had for tonight. But I'm just to me it was emotional for me to spend the week with you because of what it represents. I remember the first year that we pulled this off, and the webinars, the education program we started, we invented all this stuff. And I spent so much time in developing, thinking about what could it be, what do we want. We developed the first core values. We developed so many things that have never changed in 5 years, that are anchored to who we are, our identity. It was established at that time, and you found us like 6 months after we just the infancy of the entire, just the thought, the notion of its conception, and so it was fun to have you and part of the journey, and then having you find your wife, and we loved you guys so much, and we've been more Facebook friends than anything. It's been hard to physically connect, but we've always loved you guys, and then to have you come and see this sort of brought it full circle. Because I've told you guys the truth, after the first year, even though I believe what we did from the webinars and from the 2 tours that first year was tremendously beneficial for men, and it was a positive, very successful experience for the clients. Personally, for me, it was hell. What it took for us to pull that off, not doing it for any money, we were just rebooting our lives. You guys know my story. We suffered the bankruptcy, and my wife went to work, and all the stuff we're trying to do to recover our lives was in this first year. I mean, literally on December 15th, we're moving out of our house into my parents' condo, and 6 months later, we're hosting our first tour and not doing it for money. And so for me, I had people ask me after the first year, and we had, look at the marriages came out of your group, the babies born there, and people said, Mark, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do? I go, I wouldn't have done it. Because it just felt that heavy to me, and of course today it was such a blessing to me personally to be able to share this with you, and now that we can enjoy the benefit of it and feel blessed by it and see how many thousands and thousands of men, we have almost 2 million views on YouTube, we've got 4,000 subscribers there, 4,000 here, YouTube's, email, Facebook, all these guys are finding us, and over again, it almost becomes commonplace where I'll show another email. Another guy says we changed his life, and it's not that we do, it's that guys, they change their own life, but we're instrumental, and we're glad to be part of that. But then to see the couples and it never gets old. I'll never get to a place where I'm unappreciative of it. And it's nice to have somebody who was there from the beginning, who saw it, the whole experience, to come along and say, yeah, dude, no, it is that special. So to me, thank you. I'm really glad.
Absolutely. Oh my God, no, thank you. And, it was cool for me because you see it, every time, but like to see the guys in the beginning and they're kind of, bright-eyed and excited, to then by the end of the day, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this week. And this is her. This is the one. And how do I get back here? Like, I can't get back here soon enough. And like to watch that transition throughout the week, and they're like, it's unbelievable. Even I'm not even participating. I'm just kind of a happy spectator. It was unbelievable to watch it play out. And really what you did was you just kind of turned the industry on its ear, right? Where there really is a need. Like, guys want to meet, obviously, these kind of women. And it's not like, what makes it so hard, and you and I have talked about this, is, it's kind of like a taboo topic, and it's like, it should be such like an amazing, beautiful thing. Like, you've built families and, babies, but like, when you hear about the other industries and like the way these guys take it, the other tours take advantage of it, it's like, this is how it's supposed to be, right? It's just, you've built families and you've changed lives, and I don't know. It's a really amazing thing to just watch on the sidelines, the transition for each guy throughout the week. That was unbelievable to me.
You really described that well. It's like we get to watch a guy's life be changed right in front of our
Yeah.
eyes.
You're there at a crucial moment in that person's life that they will never forget for the rest of their life. And that's what a couple of the guys kept saying. It's like, I went, this changed my life. I will not forget this. And it's like, no. And, I remember every minute of mine, still clearly, like it happened, like mine was last week, right? And that was going on 5 years ago. It's so emotional, it's so amazing, it's such good energy, it's so much fun, and I mean, yeah, your life is completely changed by the end of it. Like I don't know anything you can compare that to.
No, there's not. And the thing I love, we had the conversation too, is that when you think about all the things we're doing now in this process with the way the translator works with the guy, the way I just even got an email from a guy today who's like, I already speak Russian, I don't need you. And I go, well, good luck with that. You tell me how, even if you lived in Nikolaev, how you're going to meet 80 women who are feeling comfortable and safe that the men they're meeting are good, that they're at the right place and time in their life, that they're going to have the right heart and attitude, and that they feel safe, you feel safe, and now you have fun ways to interact. I don't care if you lived in Nikolaev, it would take your whole life to meet that many qualified prospects.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it's such a power move to have the translator there. A, because of the way you train them, they calm you down, they really help you through it all. But think about that. You have a third person at the restaurant when you're on a date, for example, right? Mm-hmm. She's talking in a different language, so your date feels comfortable to confide in her. They don't have to go off to the bathroom together and powder their nose. They can feel comfortably talk right in front of you about you, and your translator only helps you. Like, she's your biggest cheerleader. She's your saleswoman. And if when the girl goes to the bathroom, then she goes, okay, here's what just happened. Da, 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 da. And then you know how to move off of that. You can't do that in real life. You can't have a
wing woman on your dates.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. You can't have a wing woman on your dates just freely confiding in front of you and telling you what to do next if this is the one you like. Or, saying, this isn't hitting, and I really like the girl you talked to last night. Let's blow this off and let's go focus on that one.
I just had this vision. What was that Cyrano de Bergerac? I don't know how you pronounce the name, but the classic story of the guy who was in the bushes whispering into the other guy what to do and what to say on the dates, and they've had all kinds of versions of that since, but it's his old history.
Roxanne, Steve Martin.
Right. Yes, I mean that's kind of what you get,
No, that's exactly what you get. It's not kind of. It's better than that. You can't do that in real life. You can't, and you can't go meet 80 women who are sincerely looking for a husband, and none of that setup works in real life. It just doesn't. And the way you've done it, and you have to be so thoughtful every time to make sure the women are being treated properly, so they want to come back and they tell their friends. Like, it's really like, it took a lot of care and thought to get it to this place, and that's why it can't be replicated. That's why everyone else fails that, and they just don't have the success that you do. That's the secret. It's treating the women right from day one for 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of it.
It's fun. All the above. So anyway, thank you for that. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap this up, the recording now, and so for those of you live on the call right now, hang on. We're going to open this up for Q&A for Justin, so you guys can ask questions of my former co-host and happily married guy here and father. We love you dearly, but guys, honestly, if this is in your heart, if there's something you watch this and your heart's just glowing, it's tearing you up, going, I want this, I want what these guys have, then take it seriously, and we do everything in our power to help you. I mean, we have payment plans. We're going to actually teach you in the future how to make some extra money. I have mastermind groups that do all. We do everything we can to help make this real for you. We want you to become the man of her dreams, so you find the woman of your dreams. And all of this, if this resonates with you, just make a commitment. Say, I'm going to make this happen. Whether it's this year, 2017, it's going to happen. And if you're serious about that, we start with a profile form. You fill it out. It's on the website underneath Quest Tour is a big blue bar. Profile form here, and we'll follow up. You'll have a chance to Skype with my wife or Marina, and find out more about if this is the right fit for you, and to pursue the desires of your heart. Because you never want to get to that place later in life where you're sitting there alone going like, I should have. I don't know why I didn't. I should have done that thing I heard about with Dream Connections. And so just be that man of action. We award men of action. We salute men of action. We actually have a man of action medallion that you will earn. It's on the shelf behind me back there, along with others, that we give to all the guys who show up, because we so honor and salute guys who actually take action to change their life and make a difference. And so that's all we're about, guys. We really are. We want to help. Our goal is just to create more couples and do what we can to help you get over the goal line. Anything you want to close with, brother?
Yeah, to that point exactly. Guys will ask me all the time, kind of, what's the secret? Like, there's secret sauce to it. And, I think the best thing to say is kind of, you have to choose to be happy. And that was kind of like a profound thing even for me. Like, you can sit back and kind of let life go. And I mean, my God, life goes so freaking fast. Like I said, I can't believe it's been 5 years already. And, if you don't take action, get a little bit out of your comfort zone, in 5 years, you're still going to be in the same exact spot. Like Albert Einstein says, the definition of insanity is keep doing the same exact thing over and over and expect a different result, right? So, yeah, I think my advice is kind of choose to be happy and, get out of your comfort zone a little bit, and that's how you change your life.
Right on. Well, guys, Justin, thanks so much for being part of the webinar, man. It's a joy to reconnect with you, and appreciate you sharing with the tribe.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you again.
Take it easy.